So I've been it's been on my mind to do a video like this for a while. Uh, I'll probably redo it because this is obviously, I'm not doing it professionally. I don't have notes or anything. I should take notes, but I want to make a video for the people out there that have been on antidepressant medication for years and years, maybe decades. And maybe you feel that you're going to be stuck on those for life. And I want to let you know that I was on them for over 10 years and I got off. And it's super simple, but it's extremely difficult. Because I can only share my experience, what was going on with me. Just a brief overview of it is essentially after I graduated high school, I started not taking care of myself, and I was smoking weed pretty much daily as I could afford it. Especially after college, I was smoking it daily because I could pretty much afford it, and abusing myself with alcohol. Getting drunk, getting blackout drunk, all throughout college, past college. So for I don't know, 13, 15 years I did that. And during that time period, shortly into that self-abuse, I started getting depressed. This was back in 2002, 2003, and SSRIs were, just hitting the market hard. And so I didn't know what else to do. So I went to the doctor and they prescribed me that. And, the next, again, 13 years was a roller coaster, or maybe 12 years, 11 years, I don't know, over a decade. It was a roller coaster of, getting on the pharmaceuticals, feeling a bit better. But the problem was I continued to smoke and drink and not take care of myself. So eventually that would bring my well-being back down again, and then I'd have to go back into the doctor, and then they'd up the dosage of the pharmaceuticals, and then I'd start feeling better. But I didn't change my lifestyle, so I was just constantly doing that and constantly get on more and more medication. And then SSRIs themselves weren't enough. I had maxed out how much SSRIs doctors felt comfortable giving, so then I needed to combine it with an SNRI. And it just was bad. It was bad. I'd get better for a while, and then I'd just get worse and worse. And it was, it just kept bringing me down further and further and further till, it was like I just didn't want to be alive at all, And everybody around me knew that. I just had, suicidal depression. I don't know if I should put that in air quotes or not. I wanted to die. Every day I wanted to die. And it sucked. It sucked for me. It was hell. It was hell on earth. And I was forcing that upon my loved ones too. So I'm not going to get too in depth about the whole, about everything and how I got out of it. But the gist of it is, I came to a point where I had to give up drugs including weed. I had to give that up. I had to choose between, probably an early grave or giving up grass. And, I can go into more detail in later video, but I saw what suicide does to loved ones, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. And, maybe I was one of the lucky ones. God granted me enough strength to put that daily pot use down, put that drinking down, and start running, start lifting, and slowly but surely. And it took years of doing that. And then after years of doing that, then slowly I started weaning myself off of pharmaceuticals. As I started feeling better, I got like ammo reloading scale, a super sensitive scale that can measure down to the grain. So you just got to take it super slow. You start feeling better, you can lower your dosage. You start feeling better, you can lower your dosage a bit. You start feeling bad, just hang tight with that dosage. Run an extra mile that day. You know, I recommend, I mean, if you're in a really dark place and you want to expedite it, I recommend running 3 miles a day, 6 days a week, and lifting heavy weights at least 5 days a week. You know, and that might sound like a lot, but, you know, just do it. You know, it's, you know, the pain that you're in right now. You gotta put yourself in so much pain through running and lifting and disciplining yourself that when you're not doing that, the hell that you currently exist in doesn't feel as bad. You're just happy that you're not running. You're just happy that you're not lifting. And as you lift, you know, especially if you're a guy, your endocrine system will start getting better and your testosterone will increase and you'll start feeling more confident in yourself. And it all starts to, you know, upward spiral. You know, life goes in spirals. You either spiral down or you spiral up. So, you know, again, if there's traction in this video, if people want to hear more, I can go in more in depth with all that stuff. But I just wanted to put that video out there that there is hope. I know how you're feeling. I felt the exact same way. I didn't even think that I would for surely not have to get back on SSRIs. It was 5 years after getting off of SSRIs that I finally thought, I'm pretty sure I won't have to go back on them. Now I'm not gonna be arrogant. Maybe tragedy could happen in my life and the running and the lifting just wouldn't do it. Maybe I gotta get back on it. I think SSRIs are good as long as you're taking care of yourself. They can help you from killing yourself, but unless you're taking care of yourself, they're not gonna be able to keep you from that. Okay? They're able to keep you from that as long as you're taking care of yourself. But if you continue to smoke the weed, do the drugs, drink the alcohol, jerk off the porn, all that stuff's got to stop. You know, it's all got to stop. That's your only way out of it, at least from my experience. So, you know, I hope you find hope in this, and you know, shoot me a comment if you want to talk more about it. You know, we can talk. I just, you know, I want to help whoever I can get out of hell on earth, because I'm not in a perfect place by any means, but the life that I have today is a completely different life than what it was 12, 13 years ago. I was literally in hell on earth 12, 13 years ago, and today I'm a relatively happy person, and I'm definitely, you know, I feel a lot better. So yeah, man, super simple, super tough, but you know, follow people like David Goggins, stay hard, get on top of that. You can do it. You can do it. You know, you just gotta do it. You gotta make that choice that enough is enough. And those drugs and alcohol, my last bit of pleasure, you know, that's the excuse that you're gonna have. But that's my last bit of pleasure in life. That's a lie from the devil. That's a lie from the devil. See, I told you I knew where you were coming from. I told you. And I know that that's the lie that he's telling you. Another lie he's telling you is that your loved ones would be better off without you. That's a lie from the devil. That's not your own thought. Those are not your own thoughts. That's the devil pretending to be you through your own voice, your own thought voice in your head. So don't listen to that. And get on top of it. Get after it. Good luck.